Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Genevieve and here we talk all about manifestation, law of assumption, and how to apply the principles of law of assumption and manifestation in ways that are healthy and sustainable and actually work, and that you really do get a big shift in yourself, a shift in your own state of being that actually causes a shift in reality. So today we are going to talk about the very popular, probably the most popular topic in all of law of assumption land, and that is manifesting a specific person. It is my intention in this video that I give you very clear, concise steps that define the process for how to healthfully manifest a specific person. And I'll just say, everyone in your life is a specific person. Obviously, most people who are manifesting an SP are manifesting a romantic relationship, but these things I'm about to tell you in this video apply to manifesting your parents. You can manifest your friends, your siblings, anyone in your life that you're close to and that you would like to have a complete shift in the relationship dynamic. You can apply these steps. This isn't just about manifesting romantic SPs. And sometimes taking kind of a zoom out approach, it's like, oh, this isn't just about getting my SP to be obsessed with me in love. These are principles I can apply to all my relationships. Just remembering that helps you to remember that you are the operant power. You are being pushed out through everyone in your life. Everyone is just responding to, again, what you believe about yourself, what you believe about them as a specific person, and they're just doing the role they have to play. Okay, I'm already getting into some stuff, but before we get really deep into what I want to tell you guys today, I will just start with the usual YouTuber things that I have all kinds of links in the description below in terms of links to work with me one-on-one. If you would like intimate coaching with me where I can give you some concise insights about you and kind of what you might not be seeing about yourself and your own story here, you can work with me down below. There's also a link to my Instagram page because before I came to YouTube, I have had most of my content and everything I've put out there has been mostly on Instagram. So a lot of stuff is over there if you'd like to go check that out. I also have a link to a meditation for those of you who are manifesting a male specific person in a romantic context. There is a wish fulfilled meditation that can really help you to get into that visceral experience of what it feels like to really embody already having this relationship with this specific person. Okay, I think that is it. So let's get into this today. How do you manifest an SP? Is it just saying nice affirmations a million times over and over again until something happens? Is it just hoping and praying and just wanting it really, really badly, putting a lot of focus on it that changes it? What is it? I'm obviously laughing because I use those first two examples as kind of examples of what I feel like does not work. So let me just start at the beginning because I said I would give you guys like kind of concise steps that me having done this myself and made like every mistake possible. I'll also start by saying that part of the reason I know a lot about this is because I made all the mistakes that I see a lot of other people making, especially people who are new or they've just been doing this a long time, but nothing seems to change. So I know from experience and from tons of client experience as well, what works and what does not. So the first step is you need to honor your heartbreak. And I know that might sound odd because most people who are putting out videos about how to manifest an SP are not really talking about that. But I bring it up because most of you are here. You're here on YouTube watching me because right now, currently, you're probably in a reality where you are manifesting someone because you perceive that the circumstances are really bad. You're in a reality where there's been a breakup or the circumstances are really bad or there's been ghosting and just things you don't want are happening and they're having a really profound effect on you to the point that you're wanting to consciously manifest to totally change this. So what I really see a lot is that people are trying to fix their heartbreak. They're trying to fix their emotions by just jumping right into manifestation. And people that I see doing that, they tend not to have very good luck because there's sometimes so much emotional energy. They're really angry at their SP because of whatever has happened in the circumstances. They feel very just entitled and victim-y, and I don't mean to say these things in a judgmental way. These are very human things to feel, especially after you have maybe been broken up with or ghosted or some crazy stuff's going on in your life. And if you are manifesting from a wounded place where you're actively currently in the wound and you're trying to solve the wound by making a manifestation happen to fix the circumstances, that's just not going to work. It's not going to be sustainable. You might actually get some shifts. You might see some things here and there. I've definitely seen that. But nothing sustainable is going to change if you aren't first healthfully processing your own feelings in a way that's not about them. This is what I mean by allow your heartbreak, the heartbreak that's still lingering from this old reality that you no longer want, allow you to just sit with you without making it about, how do I fix it? How do I fix it? Because the more you're in this state of urgency, because you're so afraid of your own feelings, you're so feeling like the only way to make you feel better is to codependently get this person back and that will fix everything or whatever. If you're in that kind of a codependent cycle, you are not going to really be able to genuinely shift states. So really the first step before jumping into the techniques or the practice of manifesting an SP is to let yourself naturally process your own feelings about the old reality that's really for you and about you, and not about fixing this person that you are currently fixated on. Again, it's not wrong to manifest this person and to get them back, and you totally can and will. But if you're doing it from a wounded place and you're trying to avoid your feelings of heartbreak by forcing the manifestation, it's just not going to go well. I've seen it a million times. I've seen it in myself. It's not sustainable. You just need to sit with yourself, honor yourself, really focus for a while just on your self-concept. Get yourself back into a healthy, confident, neutral place that's not all about this other person. Because this is another thing when it comes to manifesting an SP that I've seen a lot, is the more you are manifesting from this place of dependency, that's like, I need this person to validate me, to love me, to give me the attention that I seek, the more you're genuinely in that state of dependency upon anything external, including this person, obviously, it's also not going to go well. Again, I've actually never in my own life and never in any of my clients have I seen someone be really actively in a codependent self-concept and seen them be able to actually get their SP back. The people who get an SP manifestation, they put themselves first in an authentic way, in that they no longer have an identity that's dependent upon needing that person anymore. They genuinely shift into still having the love, and I'll get to that, the love between you and this person, but you're no longer grasping for it and obsessing over it and fixating on it as if that person changing and conforming to your wishes is going to save you. People who are in that state, you're not going to get the manifestation. I'm sorry, you're just not, because I've never seen it happen. Again, you can maybe get little pieces of movement. You might sometimes get a little text every now and then, but in terms of actually getting the relationship you want, it's not going to come to you if you aren't genuinely in that secure place that easily accepts the new reality. So, okay, that was a lot. I know that was a lot for a first step, but that is the first step. If you are in a lot of residual old emotional stuff, just allow yourself to process that in a way, again, that's about you, not about getting them back. So that's the first step. Once you get back into, a better place, a little bit more of neutrality, and your emotions are a little less heightened, then it's time to actually start implementing some of the principles of manifestation that I'm sure a lot of you have already heard all about. And in this video, I'm not going to go super deep into all the different techniques, because I'm sure a lot of you have heard a lot about, affirming and SATs and visualizing and imaginal acts and scripting and meditations and everything. All of those things are great. and good tools for you. And they all can help you with the manifestation. But I want you to go into all of those things with the reminder that they are for you. Any technique you do, if it's affirming, visualizing, whatever it is, it's not like you're doing the affirming as like a spell you're casting on your SP. Like you just say something enough times, it just magically goes out in the ethers and changes them. Everything that you're saying or doing as a technique, as a practice, is to impress your subconscious. You are the one that needs to change, not your SP. So everything you practice is for you. It's to healthfully shift you into the reality where everything between you and this specific person is good. It's the way that you prefer to experience it. And it's your job, your responsibility as the operant power of your life to give that to yourself. And you give that to yourself through some of the techniques and practices. Or you can make up your own technique. The techniques themselves aren't magical. They're not doing anything. It's the you behind the technique that is shifting. It's you doing the technique and doing it with a conviction that says, yes, this is my reality. I am practicing my reality because I know myself as the operant power. This is a side note tangent about operant power stuff. Another thing that a lot of people struggle with, especially when they're new, especially the law of assumption, is they really don't trust themselves as the operant power. They don't get that piece yet. And what it means when we say you're the operant power is that you're the only one in your reality that's making any decisions. There's no God outside of you. There's no power outside of you that's deciding what you can have and what you can't have. You're the only one in your reality who is thinking. You're the only one that's deciding. You're the only one perceiving, the only one making meaning out of anything in your reality. So you are an extension of God, having a temporary individual experience of yourself, and you are the operant power of this reality that you have here. You're the only one thinking and deciding what anything means. There's no one else putting thoughts in your head. You're the only one thinking. So every technique you do, it is with the knowing and the almost like convicted humility, if that makes sense. You're doing it with a convicted humility that you're doing it to help you stabilize in your new reality. It's not to like cast a spell on them and then they're gonna like prove it to you and then you'll feel better after they change. I think a lot of you are manifesting like that, and that's why you are frustrated. That's why you're burned out. That's why you're getting more depressed. That's why you are feeling worse, is because you're manifesting in this attempt to try to get their attention, and you're not really manifesting with this healthy regard for the practice that is that everything we do is to change you. It's to help you shift realities. You shift into the state. The 3D reality, it always goes behind you. It always comes after you. It never goes before you, especially when you're shifting big paradigms, where often it tends to be the case when it comes to SPs. If you're shifting a big paradigm from, being someone who has a relationship that's really codependent, maybe even abusive, not good, and you're trying to shift into a completely different reality, you might be tested by the 3D because of things like purges and stuff, but that's a whole nother topic. So anyway, no matter what technique you choose to do to help you to shift realities, it needs to be done with the conviction of understanding truly and trusting truly that you are the operant power, and what you decide to practice as your new reality is what's real, and it's the only thing that's real. The 3D isn't real. I mean, I always say that, but it's not really what I mean to say. The 3D is real. It's also you. You are a part of it. It is a part of you, but it is not real in the sense of that's where the power is, or that's where like the real stuff's happening. The real stuff's always happening within you in your internal experience, because you're the power. Okay, so that was a long story just to say that I'm not going to go into like what technique is best, because that's up to you. You're the operant power in terms of what technique is best or what you would like to do. But the important thing now that I want to explain is like, so what does it really mean when you're manifesting an SP? Like, what are you really doing, and what is going to help it to work better? And this is what I want to remind you that you're really doing. Manifesting a specific person means that within you, you are changing the way you relate to that person. You are changing the dynamic of energy, whatever you want to call it, the dynamic of the relationship that you keep alive within you you are changing that dynamic. And you are, because you're a conscious creator, you are specifically choosing a different dynamic. And that's why I said in the beginning, this reminder of this principle applies to all of your relationships, all of your friendships, even family relationships. This principle of you choose what you would like to experience with that person, and you give it to yourself. You pattern yourself to go within and feel that dynamic alive in you first. But here's the thing I see people do a lot in terms of mistakes or whatever you want to call it. You have this specific person, again, probably a romantic specific person, and you already have history with them. And so because you have that history, you already have assumptions about them. And those assumptions, they're making you be in a current reality where you are manifesting them, you are trying to get a better relationship, you are perceiving them as maybe unhealed, bad communicator, non-committal, whatever your specific assumptions that you've formed based on your old experiences, and then also based on what you've come to know about manifestation, all of that is informing your real experience towards this person. And I want to remind you that manifesting a specific person means that you're completely changing, again, the dynamic that you feel towards that person. So that means you're no longer going to be relating to them as if you're manifesting them. You are fully stepping into practicing knowing that's like, I've always had a great relationship with that person. You're going into a completely different reality where it is your responsibility to change every single old assumption that doesn't fit in the new reality. Because in the new reality, it doesn't really fit that you're the one obsessed with them, that you're the one manifesting them, you're the one keeping them on a pedestal, and you are just feeding into that unconsciously because you're not really being honest with yourself in terms of like, what dynamic are you in this moment actively participating in regards to that specific person. Your job is to internally and with your mental diet and with whatever techniques you choose to do, to be very specific about the new reality that you are choosing to entertain as your dynamic, and be very loyal to that new dynamic. So if you are choosing, for example, that your new reality is that your specific person has always been very attentive to you, has always been a great communicator. I also, you'll notice I like to use the word always in these kinds of affirmation type statements because it naturally implies revision. Some people, if you're just saying like, oh, my SP loves me, my SP is a great communicator, it can help it feel more believable if you throw in the word always, because it implies I'm fully in this reality where good things are happening that I've specifically chosen. It's not something I'm trying to make myself believe. I'm remembering. And putting the word always in there implies that, oh yeah, I'm remembering I'm already in this reality. This is what's already happening for me. And it's like, oh yeah, it's not a big deal because it's already been happening and it's what I have and it's what I'm remembering all the time. Oh yeah, this is what I have. So manifesting a specific person really is as simple as internally you are genuinely believing in this new dynamic. You are genuinely choosing, entertaining, believing in, and practicing that belief in the new dynamic every single day. This is also why mental diet and persisting is very important, because again, for a lot of you, especially if you're shifting really big paradigms, really big realities where you're going from a really crappy reality to a much different, more loving reality, and you're really not used to that new loving reality, it's going to take you maybe some persistence and practice to be in that new reality. But that's really what we're doing as people who are manifesting specific people, is you are taking stock of the old beliefs. This is also something that I like to tell my clients. It is super important, is to have a lot of familiarity with your old stories. Do not be afraid of your old stories. Oh my gosh, I just hate it when people are like, oh, I don't want to talk about the old story. Oh, I'm so, because it's like, it shows they're so afraid of themselves still, and they're not even being fully honest with themselves about maybe how much of the old story is still alive in them, and they're repressing it, and they're not even seeing all that junk clearly for what it is. The more you can approach all manifestation like a scientist, in terms of that you are just looking at the simple cause and effects of why things might have turned out in your reality a certain way, why certain dynamics are in place between you and other people, and really taking responsibility for what you continue to believe about them. And I get it. You have a lot of evidence that your SP is angry or has anger issues or whatever, because you have evidence of it. So you're like, well, of course I believe that. But you have to remember, as a manifester, you are denying your 3D senses, and you're having more faith in your internal senses, your internal conviction that you are the operant power, you're the only one making this up as you go, and trusting that, then like the new decisions you're making from that place more than you trust the evidence of old creations. So take stock of what all of your old assumptions are. Take inventory in terms of what are all of the things that you have believed in the past about your SP that are not helpful. And also take stock of all the things you've believed about yourself in relation to your SP. Maybe you believe about yourself that, they're better than you, or maybe you're still too unfit for them. You're not fit enough for them, or like there's so many things. Also a common one I sometimes see is feeling like you have to try hard to make the relationship happen, that like you're the one that has to do all the work or whatever. So that's a big assumption we got to be aware of, because if you're not really conscious of your old stories, they can very sneakily, subconsciously kind of keep telling you things in the back of your mind that you believe. This is also what's fascinating, side note, is your old stories can sometimes hijack your manifestation and delude you to make you think that you're like doing it right when really you're not. Like, for example, the one I just said about there's a belief in you that you have to try hard to make this happen. If you don't really uncover and address and replace that belief, then that belief is going to make you really try even harder in the manifestation to like make it work. And you're going to feel this pressure to like, oh my God, I got to do this right. And oh my God, that pressure to do it right is coming from the assumption that you need to try hard. That's all it is. So it's why it's very important to be aware of your old assumptions so that they don't sneakily come in and try to hijack your manifestation process and not make it very fun. So these are also things that are good to talk about in coaching in terms of what specific things have been going on with you and how to maybe see them differently and all that fun stuff. So anyway, so shifting realities is you are internally practicing, being very convicted in your new beliefs about this relationship, that the two of you have great communication, so loving, they are so attentive to you, they've always been totally healed, totally available to you. You are internally experiencing this now and you're trusting it as if it's real. It's not just like a nice idea that you're fantasizing about. You're practicing being like, whoa, this is real. This is real, that I'm not manifesting them. They've always been really into me. Like that's how it's always been. And you're practicing that all the time and persisting in that. So anyway, this video has gotten so long. This is obviously a really big topic that obviously many of you are interested in. And I'm just going to leave it there for now. I think I covered the really big things in terms of like just big themes I see. The bottom line is that manifesting a specific person is you completely accepting you're the operant power and completely going into already the way end. Internally you're in the way end of like, yep, we are, if you want to get married, which most of you do, we're already married. They are already such an amazing spouse to me. They love being with me, all the things you can say. It doesn't matter, be as specific as you want in your reality, but you are fully going into that new reality, and you cannot be in two realities at once. You cannot be claiming the new reality, but at the same time, most of your day having a mental diet where you're really in the old reality too, because they're just going to cancel each other out. It's not going to get much movement. It's going to stay hot and cold and weird. You have to go all in on, I'm the only one who can really be secure in this. My SP is never going to prove it to me. They're never going to give me permission to believe this stuff. I'm the operant power. I'm going all in on my conviction that this is what I have. And I give it to myself all the time. And there's something about that. Like, again, the people who really do this well when you really do know yourself, one is the operant power, and then two, really do trust what the new reality that you've created, there's a natural detachment that suddenly comes. Because this is also a thing you guys have probably noticed. It seems relatively easy to manifest things you don't care about, but that's not because you don't care. It's because when your identity is not so desperate to get an outside in validation, it's much easier to just live your life and accept, yeah, I could easily have that, but it's no big deal if it didn't work out. I'm not saying that because I want you to say that about your SP. I want you to accept that there will be a natural detachment that comes as you really do trust yourself and the experience. My camera is even telling me that I'm going on too long because it just cut me off. So anyway, we're going to wrap this up. Trust yourself as the operant power. Trust that there will be natural detachment that comes. And what I mean by detachment is that you're not going to feel like you need it so bad anymore. In terms of, you're not going to feel like, oh my God, when is the 3D going to give it to me? When is everything going to happen and conform? That's going to naturally lessen, because the people, again, who do this in a healthy, sustainable way, just something comes over you where you suddenly trust yourself and your experience of yourself, and you really feel at home in your own body and your own consciousness, that you're no longer like so desperate for it. And that is when the SP tends to conform in a nice way. So I'm going to leave it here for now. Well, please let me know, because I'm sure you have tons of questions still about SP type stuff. So let me know what other questions you have, and I will answer them in future videos. As I said before, of course, I'm available for one-on-one coaching. If you'd like to go into your specific self and what's kind of going on for you and your circumstances and all that, I'm totally happy to talk about that. And also, it's okay to talk about your circumstances. Again, it's healthy to have familiarity with what you've already created in a way that you're no longer being so threatened by the old stuff. That heightened threat you feel of your old stories is part of what is the problem for you. But that's, again, another topic. So anyway, I'm going to end this here, but please subscribe, like this video if you got something out of it, and comment below what your other questions are, and I'll try to address them. And I will see you in a future video. All right, bye.